Parents and families, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. You are watching the right video for 7th grade math with Miss Hofman. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet and to the point for you guys. Apologies for not having a video of myself right now as I'm speaking, but I do want to have my screen shared in this video with you guys because I'm going to walk you through just a couple of things that I think are just going to be helpful for you to see at home. Now, before I go through that, just a little bit about myself briefly. This is my 12th year at Irving. I'm currently working with the Math 7 and the Honors students, but I have also worked with the Algebra students. I was also the department chair for 10 years at Irving, so I'm very comfortable with all of the curriculum at the different levels, as well with a lot of the staff that work in the building and a lot of the staff at the high school as well. So I'm a pretty good go-to resource when it comes to math in the county. I am from North Carolina, and I did go to UNC, which some of you are either rolling your eyes at that or you're thinking that that's awesome. I'm really proud of UNC and the fact that I went there. I'm going to be teaching from DC. I do live in the district, and I'm somebody who was able to go back virtually, as you guys know, or go back into the building, I should say. And so if and when we go back, I'll be one of the ones in the building. And I think that's why you're watching my video, because I think that's what we all have in common. I wanted to go ahead and put your minds at ease that even though this is all distance learning, our kids matter so much to me. And I think even that might be covered up right there with that. But as you can see here, I'm one of the teachers who really asks the kids to come back before they graduate and make sure they say goodbye. So these are just a couple of before and afters of kids from throughout the years, I should say, where they've come back and made sure that they've said hey, and they've all got their caps and gowns on, and that's just been a lot of fun. So I want you guys to just know that even though it's all virtual and we're not in the building, your kids at home still matter just as much to me. And I still want to be able to work with them to develop their math skills and as many life skills as possible during this pandemic time. Now, that being said, I did want to give you guys an overview of the school year. And because you guys are the ones at home helping out, I would say even more than you ever have in the past, it feels like parents feel more responsible to kind of know where we are in the school year. Again, in a traditional school year, if we were in the building, I've got everything under control, and I think that you would totally trust that. And since everything from the county is really complicated and confusing and uses a lot of big fancy math words, what I wanted to do is make something nice and simple for the students, and I created a treasure map. Now, this is the reason why I wanted my video to be a shared screen, because you can see now I've exited out of my presentation, and I wanted to point out to everybody where to find this treasure map in Schoology. So if you come over to Schoology, and even though this is my second period class, I could have your child in second, fourth, or sixth period this school year. But right here in materials, right there at the top is going to be a link to our treasure map. And what this is here, it's an overview of the entire year. It has all of the topics that we're going to be covering with a couple of places built in for just some mixed review. For example, if the student tries to go work on the expressions, equations, and inequalities unit, it's going to tell them that the level is locked and that they must complete the previous level. Now, even though this is currently locked for students for the first unit, for my demo, I have it set so that you can see what's going to happen when they do click it when it's open for them. Now, I might change the formatting slightly by the time it's live next week for the kiddos, but basically what you're seeing here is the resources for the students for that unit, and same thing for you at home as parents. If you're just trying to help out, this is where you can go to look. Now, I do want to point out that everything is going to be here also in Schoology. For every unit that you see here, it's going to be split up into week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and I'll be building those folders into Schoology. What I just mentioned with the different weeks, here it is again. Now, this is my teacher version of the year mapped out. I went through and just listed everything that we're responsible for knowing, and I'm not going to overwhelm you with that. But our first unit is right here in yellow. And that's what I meant by that first unit on rational numbers with fractions and decimals and percents. Here it is kind of broken down, and this is what the folders will look like in Schoology. So from that treasure map, when they click in here, all of the stuff that I just mentioned for these little units and topics will all be there in the treasure map, okay? So rest assured that at home, you definitely have this treasure map to help you navigate your way through the school year. And again, it's always going to be the top link in Schoology. And as we move our way through the school year, these levels will unlock and the resources will be made available. Now, another thing that I wanted to kind of go through with you guys is what you can be doing at home to help. That's one of the main reasons why you probably are watching this video, because you want to know how to help. So the first thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is to just explore Schoology with your child at home and just try to get comfortable with it as soon as possible. I know that that's really challenging and a lot of us are really familiar with Google Classroom, but Schoology is kind of our new thing. And that's my first suggestion, is to just kind of explore and try to get comfortable with it as soon as you can. Another thing I'd ask for you guys to do at home is to encourage student participation in class. So far, the students, for the most part, have been very eager to turn their videos and audio mics on because they kind of miss each other and they're ready to talk. But some students are very, very shy, and some students are yet to turn their mic on and contribute, or to turn their video on and contribute. So please, whatever you can do at home to encourage student participation in class, please do that. Now, math specific, start to look for these things called I can statements. And what we're going to do this school year, we really want to try to simplify it for you guys at home. We want to make things nice and easy. So instead of it saying things like here, instead of saying something like in a grade book, rational numbers quiz review homework, if you see that in a grade book, you as the parent at home, you really don't know how to help your child out if you see that they failed that assignment. So you're not going to see things like rational numbers quiz review for homework or this classwork assignment. You're not going to see things this school year for math tagged as classworks or homeworks or anything like that. We're going to only put things in the grade book, and it's going to be called an I can statement. And so the first thing in the grade book this school year will be for I can convert between decimals and reduced fractions. And I'm going to be explaining a scale for you guys. It's going to be just a 0 to 4 scale. And there is conversions that pull over beautifully. So like if a kid gets a 90 on an assignment, that's going to scale over into like a 3.8 or something like that. So it's going to be very easy for parents to get used to this transition of like traditional percentage-based grades. And right in the grade book, there's going to be the standard, and you'll be able to tell based on a score of 0 to 4 if your child either has mastered that topic, is still mastering, or needs to master. Now the 0 through 4 thing, it's a little complicated, and I don't want to take too much time in a video to go through that. But I did want to just point out to you guys that you're going to be looking for these things called I can statements. So for example, if you see something that says, I can evaluate algebraic expressions for given replacement values of the variable, here's what it means. We want the kids to be able to simplify something like 3xy plus 2 when they replace the variables with a -4 and a 1/2. So when you see that in the grade book, if the student has a 3 or a 4 for that topic, that means you know they can do that. But if they have like a 0, a 1, or a 2, then that means you know they don't know how to do it. And it makes it very easy to communicate with me, the teacher, or to your child to say, hey, it looks like you can't evaluate algebraic expressions for given replacements of the variable. What do we do about that? What can we ask your teacher to help you with? It makes the conversation more focused on math, and it makes everybody who's a part of the conversation, we all know how to talk about the math topics that the students either can or cannot do. Now, the last thing that I want to ask you guys to just do at home at help is to please, please, please email me with questions or concerns, or we can set up a time to meet during office hours. All right. Now, my office hours are going to be on Tuesdays from 2:25 to 3:25. And just so that we're not wasting anybody's time, I think it's going to be a really good system to say, let's make this by email. So that if at 2:25 I'm working with a student on one topic, it's not wasting another student's time listening to that review. Since it's early on in this school year, I am fine with meeting with some of the parents at home. If you guys wanted to email me and try to set up a time real quick to talk during one of these office hours, I'm happy to do that since we don't have the opportunity to meet in person. Now, real quick, I did want to go back and just remind you that the rolling gradebook is school-wide, and what that means is that there's no more quarterly grades. It's going to be the first grade that goes in for this. I can convert between decimals and reduced fractions. Your child will have the duration of the year to master that topic. So early on, we're going to be working on this topic. Then the next day, we're going to move to this topic. And you're going to start to see grades going in the grade book to prove whether or not they've mastered these skills. If they have mastered the skill, again, you'll see like a 3 or a 4. But if they haven't, you'll see like a 0, a 1, or a 2. If you notice your child struggling, you can very easily see here what they're struggling with. And you can email me and say, hey, what can we do about the fact that they cannot order a set of rational numbers? Or, hey, what can we do about the fact that they cannot convert between decimals and percents? So I like the I can system. I think it's going to make things very, very simple for everybody. And I just kind of wanted to reiterate that our grade book is going to be this simple. Can they do this? Can they do this? Can they do this? Can they do this? We are going to use quizzes. We're going to have eCart quizzes at the end of every unit to formalize the assessment to verify that the students can do this along the way. Okay? So there will still kind of be like a formalized quiz, if you will. But instead of this being all jumbled up into one big rational numbers quiz, and then there just being a grade, and again, like if a kid can do some of it, but not all of it, when you see the score for the quiz, it does not tell you what they can and cannot do. So by doing it this way, by having our 5 I can lessons, and then having 5 separate little mini quizzes, which again, these will not have more than 5 questions on them each at all. So you're looking at total something that would be 25 questions to assess the entire unit. And again, these are going to be little mini quizzes so they don't overwhelm the kids. It'll just be 5 questions on the first topic, 5 on the next, 5 on the next, 5 on the next, 5 on the next. And again, that's just allowing us as the teachers to make sure along the way that they're mastering these standards. So once again, I'm going to put the slide back up in case you needed it. This is my email. And my office hours are again on Tuesdays. Thank you for watching. That's going to conclude this video. Please email me with any questions. Thank you.